Alright homies, I'm on my way to Knoxville to meet a guy on Craigslist who is selling me a Dell Optiplex computer for like $200. And as long as everything works, I should be getting out of here pretty good for a encoding streaming PC setup for my rack. So we will see how this goes. Well, I just met the guy. His name was Mike. For the sake of things, I didn't feel like filming, you know, just kind of make it a little awkward. But well, I met him at Best Buy, and I would actually recommend this to anyone buying used PC hardware, particularly like a fully built system. The Best Buy that I went to, I just approached the Geek Squad counter and I asked them if I could just bring the machine inside and then throw it on their test bench just to boot it up and make sure everything, you know, all the hardware was there and everything made sense according to the ad. And they actually were super cool with it. So when the guy got there, I just asked him, you know, if we could take 5 minutes to walk inside and turn it on and make sure everything was good. And he was okay with it. So I was able to like pretty much fully test out the machine prior to buying it. So, you know, that way, at least from a hardware perspective, it kind of ensures that I'm getting what I'm paying for. You know, it's gonna need a lot of work to make it what I need it to be, but all of that can be done with basically software. So just a little tip for you guys. I'm gonna get this thing loaded up with a fresh copy of Windows 10 and firing up some OBS, and we'll see what kind of numbers we can pull. All right, guys, just got done wrapping up a little Cinebench pass. Thermals looking pretty solid. I just got done, as you can see. Max temps is around 77. That's warm, but I'm pretty comfortable with that temp. I think that should sit just fine in a rack as long as I put some spacers and maybe put a little back exhaust fan in the rack itself. As you can see over here, we're landing at a 754 on the first pass. I haven't even done any tuning or anything. Sets it just below the 4770K. So far this is looking really nice. Alright guys, I ripped open the case, took out the drive, hard drive and disk drive, and put in a SSD. So I'm just getting the finishing touches mounted on it, and then we'll get Windows installed. So my Windows 7 key that was associated to this machine worked for Windows 10 activation. So got my boot disk in there, and we are just getting Windows installed now on a brand new SSD. So this thing's gonna be zippity zappity with that 4770. So stay tuned. Okie dokie. Shout out to Starbucks, corporate sponsor. Autofocus is actually detecting her face. That's really interesting. Today is a good day. I'm doing some systems testing, and I am very, very mucho happy about the way this is all turning out. So I'll walk you through what's going on. First off, the setup. Here's the PC. All I've got plugged in right now is a mouse, keyboard, HDMI monitor, and an Ethernet cable. It's got gigabit Ethernet, so that's awesome. And that's about all I'm gonna plug into it, honestly. Yeah, when it's in the rack, I'll probably have an audio interface and an Elgato Stream Deck and a Elgato Cam Link as well. All on, you know, the Cam Link will be a USB 3 bus, but everything else can just get run through a hub. And that's it. So anyways, I've already been streaming a little bit to Twitch, and I'll pull up the stats menu here so you guys can see. So we've pushed 7,400 frames, 7,500 frames. I'm doing a 1080p 60 stream right now, almost hitting 100 megabytes. So it's been running for a little bit at a 6,000 kilobytes a second bit rate. And as you can see, I've only missed 2 out of over 50,000 frames, which is insane. Down here you can see no dropped frames. CPU percentage is sitting at about 30%. Come over here to my hardware monitor and you can see, so we're about 30% usage everywhere actually. RAM's probably a little closer to 40 because of Chrome, hashtag Chrome. And temps on the CPU sitting around 61 degrees Celsius. I imagine that's about as hot as the CPU is going to get. So let me walk you through this really cool setup. Over here I have a 5K iMac. I use this for work, especially when I have to use Final Cut, which I prefer not to. I am running this little Premiere project.
Something that's
pretty basic.
Good, something.
But what's cool is that I've got a copy of OBS running in the background. For some reason it's not wanting to pull up. You guys will just have to trust me that it's it's there, it's running, and it's got NDI enabled. NDI for OBS is available on GitHub. It is fantastic. And I've also got a copy of Synergy running, which allows me to connect. As you can see, I've got a iMac, and then I've got my PC, which is Ion, that's the streaming PC. And that allows me to use this Mac keyboard and mouse and simply go from one screen to the other, back and forth, nice and simple. And that allows me to just, have one set of peripherals, and as long as they're connected to the same switch, it works over LAN, and it is fantastic. Over here, I've got OBS pulled up, and I'm going to switch to this next scene. And as you can see, I've got just a basic overlay. I'll make this bigger. I've got a basic overlay that I can toggle on and off, and then I've got the actual Mac itself. And because I've got NDI on this gigabit network, I've got a clean 1080p 60 FPS stream with only about a second of latency between the two. You can see here, only about a second of latency. So, which is no problem, because I can delay audio all I need to, and it's pushing out the stream right now. Like I said, we've had 0 dropped frames so far. If we go back to the stats, still only missed 2 frames due to the rendering lag, and I am super duper happy. $200, Dell Optiplex, I love it. So there you go, guys, that's the follow-up. Hope this all makes sense. I will be back, because I'll be putting all this together in a rack with some other gear, and so stay tuned for all of those. That will be happening very soon. See you guys.